really fun people that you're going to hear from before we have the film rolling, but I think the most important is the person who brought us all here today. So please welcome the voice of Ariel, Disney legend, Jodi Benson. Whatever you want.
Okay, we're sitting. Right, awesome. Hey, this is great. I am so thrilled that everybody's here. I'm so bad at sitting in these chairs. I always fall over.
At least we're not too close to the edge.
That's right. Well, thank you all so much for coming out and enjoying this evening with us. And I love all the Disney bounding. This is awesome. You all look incredible. How many friends were here this afternoon with us at Living Seas? Oh, a big crowd. Look at the top deck. Come on, top deck. Those are great seats up there, right? What?
That was very Michael James time.
Oh, was it? Awesome.
Well, we're really excited to be here with Jodi. Jodi, I mean, we're here celebrating the Little Mermaid, a musical adventure opening at Disney's Hollywood Studios after the original Voyage of the Little Mermaid ran for something like 30 years.
1992 till 2020, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that time?
Oh.
And so, I mean, back then, you started with Ariel long before that, in 1986.
Yeah. I think my hire date is 86 and my work date was 87.
Oh wow! So tell us about the beginnings of Ariel. How did she come about?
Well, a lot of you have heard the stories, but yeah, basically I was doing a Broadway musical called Smile with Howard Ashman and Marvin Hamlin, and yeah, 10 people saw it. I love that. And I worked on that project for nearly 4 years, and I had a song that was written for my character that I created, and my song was Disneyland, so it was perfect. And we really thought that we had a job. We really did. We thought the show was going to run a little bit. And lo and behold, Frank Rich, God rest his soul, at the New York Times, gave us a horrible review, and it was tragic, and we were just brokenhearted. In the meantime, Howard Ashman was already working with Disney on The Little Mermaid with feature animation, and he just felt really horrible that we all just lost our jobs. All the executives from Disney had come to see our Broadway show, came to my dressing room. They loved the song of Disneyland. And Howard felt bad, so he invited a handful of us girls to audition for Ariel. And I'd never been behind a mic. I didn't know what voiceover was. And I say this all the time, and it's true. It was something to do on the way to the unemployment office. It just gave me something to do that day, and I'm grateful. So I went to this audition with an old-fashioned reel-to-reel, push press, play and record at the same time. And I had a cassette tape. We were given a cassette tape of Howard singing Part of Your World. Went to the ladies' room, made sure nobody was in the stalls, and started talking to the mirror to myself to figure out what would a 16-year-old sound like. Came up with something, went back in, laid down the song and some dialogue, and a whole year went by. I just forgot, just kept working and auditioning and getting on stage and doing my thing. And my agent paged me on a pager, and I had a roll of quarters for payphones, all of these things that none of you know. And yeah, so I called her, and she said, I've got a job for you. You booked it. You are Ariel. And I just said, what is an Ariel? What is an Ariel? And yeah, so I started flying back and forth between New York and LA, but we were going to remain anonymous, which was Walt's way with voice animation. And you would only know who we were if you would freeze frame your little VHS and figure out who played who. But we were going to remain anonymous, no press, no publicity, no reveal. Until September, before the movie came out in November, decided to send me on press tour, 22 cities in 20 days. And I didn't understand why, and my life changed as soon as the movie came out. So I say all the time, I'm always blown away after almost 39 years that I sing the song almost every weekend, and I love singing it, never get tired of singing it. And the fact that all of you love my character, you love this film like I do, and it still just is really mind-blowing, you know, that all of you have that connection with her and with the film, and I don't take that lightly, and I don't take it for granted, and it's a huge blessing and a huge responsibility all at the same time, that I keep her going, keep her alive, and yeah, it's a blessing, it really is.
How many of you are, well, yes, let's hear it for that.
These are all diehard Disney fans. They've heard all these stories before. They know the whole history better than I do. They know my resume better than I do.
I know a lot of us grew up with the movie on VHS and other formats, but I see a lot of kids here. How many of you are bringing your kids to see it on the big screen for the first time? Nice. And how many of you are wearing Little Mermaid inspired outfits? Let's stand up if you can. We'd love to see
Lots
them.
of.
Yes.
Look at all of this.
Let me
Okay,
get a
look at my
picture.
camera. I'm going to do my camera too. Hold on.
So cool. I mean, what an impact that
Crazy.
a
It
movie
really
has.
is. It's really, really crazy. It really is. And it's just, you know, a job that you would think you're going to go in the studio for 2.5 weeks over the course of 2.5 years and go right back to Broadway doing 8 shows a week, and never thought that I would ever talk about this or do anything having to do with Ariel, and continuing to be in the studio, doing our projects, singing the song almost every weekend. It's just mind-blowing. It really is. It's a huge gift, a real huge gift.
So cool. Well, over all those years, you've gotten to visit Ariel a few times, and you've had some other really fun characters. But over the years, has there been anybody that you've gotten to work with on the film that you've remained friends with?
Well, we've lost a lot of our cast members, and which is, you know, really, really heartbreaking. But I'm really good friends with Glenn Keane and Mark Penn, both of my animators, and they're
Glenn
just.
Keane, who did the concept art that you're all holding.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. So Glenn and his family, Mark and his family, were wonderful friends. I'm so thankful for their friendship and their incredible talent, and just how they brought Ariel to life. And Glenn would say, you know, Ariel was just a tiny little thumbnail sketch on a page until I walked into the studio, and he had told Disney he was never going to do a princess, never going to animate a princess. And as soon as he found out that I was cast and he read this story and saw this script, he's like, I have to do Ariel. And he was in that recording studio with a Walkman, you know, recording me and sketching and just really bringing her to life. And he'll say, Ariel was never born until you walked into the studio the first day. And the first time you got behind the mic, he's like, I knew exactly what she was going to look like and how we were going to create her. So it's a real team effort. And it's a beautiful, beautiful process of animation. It was fun to learn while I was doing it because, of course, I didn't know what the heck I was doing and never done anything like that. So it was just a great learning experience for me.
Wow. Well, we don't have a lot of time to dive into history today, so I'm going to give y'all some homework assignments. 2 Don Hahn documentaries on Disney+. One is Waking Sleeping Beauty.
Yes, you must see that.
And the other is Howard.
Yes, both of them. Have you ever seen Waking Sleeping Beauty? Okay, find that. It's really incredible just to kind of tell you the journey of our film and of Walt Disney feature animation. And then, of course, the Howard documentary is just breathtaking. You know, his brilliance. And my goal and my honor is every time I sing the song is to pay tribute to him and to keep his legacy alive. That's really what's important to me. So.
Well, I think you're doing that by spreading positivity in the world and the legacy that you've left behind with this movie and so many projects after.
Thanks, Justin.
We are the fan club here, and I know earlier we got to chat a little bit about, the fans and how much they've mean to you over the years. Do you have a favorite fan interaction or
all of my fan interactions are amazing. I love to hear everyone's story. I love to know what feelings and emotions they have the first time they saw the film, and when I sing the song and what that brings up in them. And it's a trigger core memory, Where were you the first time you saw the film? What were you wearing? What did your bedroom look like? Who in your family saw the film with you? Who did you play with in the pool when you played Ariel? And all of these elements. But the stories just are mind-blowing, how children have learned how to speak that were nonverbal. I have a huge, huge fan base on the spectrum of incredible individuals on the spectrum, and how they relate to Ariel, feeling that they need to be heard, their voice needs to be heard, they want to be seen, they want to be valued. I also have a huge following in the LGBTQIA+ community that I adore, and again, finding their voice, finding how they can, be who they are authentically and vulnerable and real. And it's just amazing, to me, how many people connect to my character and then indirectly connect to me. And so I get to be a little piece of your story, of your life story. And it's such a privilege. It really is a privilege for me. And not to be cheesy, but I get to be a little bit part of your world and your journey. And again, I take it very seriously, and it really does matter to me. This isn't my job, This is who I am. This is the essence of who I am. So when I'm representing my character in our film and within the company, it has great value to me. So these wonderful, wonderful people in these communities that feel unseen, I just am privileged that I can let them be heard, let their voice be heard, and let them feel counted and valued.
So besides in our hearts, The Little Mermaid has lived on in the Disney theme parks all over the world, from Paris to Tokyo to the cruise ships. Do you have a favorite Little Mermaid thing that has been in the parks over the years?
Well, as you mention it, I happen to bring some friends with me tonight, if that's okay, if I bring them on the stage. Would that be all right?
Yes, I'm going to let you take over from here.
So, my friends, how many of you have seen, thank you, Justin. Are you going? Okay, bye. Bye, Justin. Everybody say goodbye. I didn't mean to kick you off the stage. How many of you have seen the new show, The Little Mermaid, a musical adventure at Hollywood Studios? Come on, let's hear it! Woo! Okay, yes, yesterday was opening day. We had preview 2 nights ago. I did a little BTS and I surprised the cast and went to a run-through, and I was a sobbing mess. I was a hysterical sobbing mess, and everybody saw it on the internet. Very embarrassing, but it was very emotional for me. I wasn't expecting that. But I have brought all my friends, they're my new friends, who have created this show. So I don't have everyone's last name memorized. Hold on, because I don't have their last names memorized. I have their first names. Hold on. But I want, hello, phone, operate. Okay, here we go. So, from The Little Mermaid, a musical adventure, I'd like you to welcome to the stage the show director, James Silson. Give it up for James. Our puppetry director, Katrina Nina Rick, the senior visual media creative producer, Tony Reeser, the principal visual effects designer, Alexander LaFrance, the art director, last but definitely not least, little princess Sarah Schmidt, the concept artist and illustrator. Come on. All right, my friends, you guys have a seat. I'm actually not going to sit, okay? I just feel like I want to stand up. I don't want to, because I want to be able to see all your faces. So we're just going to get rid of that chair like you never saw it. Okay. So I want you guys to hear and be able to, appreciate, I don't want to use my phone, and be able to appreciate these incredible, talented creatives here and how they have put this beautiful show together for all of us to enjoy. Okay, so James, I'm going to start with you. Okay, so what makes this show so special? And this timing is just, it's perfect. It's perfect for this show right now.
Well, this is, as you know, this is a timeless tale and one that holds so much meaning for so many people. And you were saying earlier just how important it is to find their voices and be able to connect with that inner person inside, that dream inside, and push themselves forward to pursue their destinies, pursue their dreams. And the character Ariel very much is that individual, right? The strength of that character is the fact that she would pursue her dreams against all costs, right? And so this show, this opportunity to bring this show, where it is now, it used to be Boys of Little Mermaid. How many people saw that? And that show was there for a very long time, and then it went away. But the story of Ariel and the Little Mermaid is such a huge piece of the fabric of Disney that we could not have that show. So the opportunity came to bring it back, but bring it back in an all new way, using technology of today, using the storytelling theatrical devices of today, to tell this story, tell the complete story at Disney's Hollywood Studios, and do it in a way that the guests maybe have never experienced before. Really transport you into the film in a way that becomes a real visceral experience between you and Ariel and the rest of the beloved characters in that story.
Fun fact, okay, so James has been with the company for a long time, not as long as I have, right, but a long time. But a fun fact, James was in the production of The Voyage of the Little Mermaid. Tell them.
I was a puppeteer in that show. I know.
Isn't that cool?
Long time ago.
Talk about full circle, right?
Crazy. And what's funny is that, so many of us have gotten our start at Disney as performers, and Chris here has the longest tenure with the show. Let him talk about that. But we discovered that we were working on the show together, that there were a lot of us who had all in some way, shape, or form touched that original show. And we're now coming here and getting to put the show on that we always talked about in the green room. The ideas of wouldn't it be great to put Kiss the Girl in there? Well, now we did. Things like
It's
that.
fun, you guys get to do that. So, okay, so we're going to jump over to Chris, and I love his last name. I'm going to just say it again. Iannuzzi. Did I say it really well, didn't I? Iannuzzi. My nickname is Maserati, so I'm Italian. I mean, that's why I can say it. Rio Paisano. Okay, so Chris, you are the puppetry master. And you started at Disney for forever. You have to tell them a fun fact about us that I just learned.
Fun fact, I just brought this up upstairs to Jodi. Showed her a little video from 1995. It was for the Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Parade filming of the Magic Kingdom. Jodi was singing on one of the floats, and I happened to be Sebastian.
He was inside Sebastian. Isn't that funny? So he showed me this video, he goes, that's me.
See that little, I'm in that box. That's me.
So Chris, tell us about the magic that you make.
Well, I direct puppets. They just start coming in, and I'm like, do this. No, we have a very talented troupe, I'll say, of puppeteers who are performers in the park, who help bring this, not only this show, but many of our shows to life in the parks, not only the parks, on the cruise line as well. The puppeteers we have in this show are remarkable. Not only do they have to do it all with artistry, but they also have to do it blindfolded and on dark stage. So it's pretty dark. I'm not blindfolded, but they wear a hood. It's if you those of you have not seen the show yet, the show is done in the dark. So puppeteers are not visible. They wear black clothing and black hoods, so you can't see them. That's part of the magic. Don't tell them. gonna let you guys go hold that secret for us. But they do a remarkable job bringing that story to life, as James was saying. There is something about puppetry that takes a story to that place that you can't do only with humans. You bring these characters to life in ways that are just magic. You know, my history at the stage, like James saying, I was a puppeteer back in 1992. I started actually at the Voyage of Little Mermaid as a show usher. And a stage manager of the theater came out and said, hey, do you want to be a puppeteer? And I'm like, sure.
So he went from an usher to being a puppeteer to now being the puppet director, master of the show. I mean, talk about full circle, right? From Voyage to this show, the history is really beautiful. Now, Kat and Tony, do you guys want to chit-chat together on your team, or do you want me to take, I'll just throw things at you. Okay, so I don't want to give too many things away for those that haven't seen it, but this visual magic is unbelievable of blending live action with animation with visual imagery. So tell us about your magic. They would love to hear that.
So Tony and I work very closely together. I am his leader, technically, and when I led a team of over 20 visual effects designers, but I couldn't have done it without this guy over here, because he's the technical guru that helped us put together this new pipeline that we established with Nemo, but then really went crazy with it in the show. I don't know if you want to talk about it.
Sure. So like I was saying, what we established with Nemo, and I think got pretty dang close to perfected with Mermaid here, was we built everything out in a video game engine. And so it was Kat, myself, and a whole team of upwards of 20 visual effects designers, and we couldn't have done it without every single one of them. So it was everything from some of our team members created orthographics so that other team members could model the fish and then rig them, texture them, and then nice long process of animating them all and trying to get as close as we could to like the puppet performance that you would expect from puppet directors and like the people down there on the stage, because we wanted to make it as seamless as possible. Are you looking at real flounder? Are you looking at digital flounder? We'll never tell. But it was an awesome experience the whole way through.
The fact that you did blend these seamlessly, now I've only seen the show twice, I'm gonna go twice tomorrow before I leave, because I'm missing a lot of things. I find myself looking at one thing, but you cannot tell the difference between what's real, something that you can touch in a three-dimensional, and what is visual. That I can't tell the difference. So that's the magic that they're creating, which is really unbelievable. Are we good time? We good? We're good with time. Nobody's saying anything. Great. Alexander. Okay. Alexander is the art director. All right. Give us a little synopsis of what you do and how you create the magic for the show.
Sure. Similar in Kat and Tony's relationship, I am the art director, so I am responsible and oversee all the visual aesthetic of the piece, everything from the scenic to all the way through into having conversations with costuming, with props, making sure there is continuity and a through line. But for this particular project, because it was Little Mermaid, I knew as soon as that I was assigned this project that I needed to work with Sarah Schmidt, who is a lifelong Ariel fan. She lives, breathes Ariel. And I knew that in order for there to be an authenticity of voice, an authenticity of aesthetic, that really, partnering with Sarah was essential, so that I could basically sculpt the canvas for her to paint on, and then she can relive and become Ariel herself in a way as an artist to really just bring that all to life. And I think we had a lot of fun, like putting all these different pieces together and finding this unique aesthetic.
Now, Alexander, I'm not going to get to you, Sarah, but that takes a lot of, you have that pursuit of excellence. So you put ego aside as an art director, and you say, I'm in a team effort, and I want the best to have for this product. So you're going to pull somebody in. That's really great. That's wise teamwork, figuring out where everyone's strengths are. And so that was amazing for you to be able to select Sarah. And Sarah is a huge Ariel fan. She has some pretty cool things that are personal for her. Can you share that with the audience?
Absolutely, yeah. It always makes me laugh when Alexander tells that story because I would have ended up on this project anyway. I was not going to let this show happen without me. So in designing all of these different physical set pieces, the proscenium, as you can see, this is actually our color elevations behind us. So this is the template that we use to create and build the actual physical proscenium in the space. So all of the different textures are all collaged together out of a variety of different sources. We wanted the show to feel pretty timeless, but we focused on a lot of artifacts that focused on finding your voice and being heard. So we have a lot of musical instruments in the proscenium. We have sheet music, the original handwritten sheet music for the finale is in the proscenium. And a lot of different time periods, the 80s of course, turn of the century, as well as modern day influences. And a lot of personal touches as well. Like if you watch the behind the scenes video, you'll know that part of the proscenium is actually the bridesmaids' dresses for my parents' wedding that were this beautiful shade of 80s teal. So it worked out perfectly. There are just so many personal touches that reflect not only me, but all of us. You know, all of us have such a connection to this story and to Ariel, and to be able to bring it to life in this way is such a dream come true.
I think it's really amazing and so incredible that Disney selected and brought on board each one of these incredible team players who had their own personal connection to the film or to the character or to the voyage, to the original show, to then to have people that really care about the end product. Not just hiring people with a name and, you know, that's your title, go make this beautiful show. These people, they live it, they feel it, they care about it, and it really matters to them. So, yeah, congratulations. Congratulations to each and every one of you. Let's give them a hand for their new show. That is going to be, and thank you guys so much for coming. I really appreciate it. It was wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Now I think they're going to stay and actually a few of them be able to stay and watch the movie. I know they need to strike our little set. You guys, do you want to strike now or do you want me to chit chat? Chit chat or strike? No, just chit chat. Okay, I'll chit chat. Let me grab my phone so that doesn't get tossed away somewhere. That, hold on to that. Well, I can't remember the last time I've seen the film, quite honestly. And I certainly have never seen it on a screen this large, I don't think. So I'm really excited. And don't mind me, I will just be there probably crying the whole time. So don't mind me if you hear somebody audibly sobbing, that's just me. Thank you, my friends. These are all my bosses, so give it up for all my bosses here. Chris, Linda, Randy. These are the big cheeses right here. They're all the big cheeses. They're the reason why I get to show up. But anyways, I'm really excited to get to see the film with all of you, and that we get to kind of celebrate this together. You know, it's so fascinating to me that this movie still matters to people. It's still just mind-boggling. It really is mind-boggling to me when I meet people on weekends at conventions or symphony concerts or doing a show or whatever, that go this way, yes. See, I do what my bosses tell me to. Go stage left. Yes. Oh, I'm glad I moved. Thank you. Thank you so much. That was a good direction, Randy. Thank you so much. Please move so we don't knock you out. Okay. Anyways, thank you. Thank